Today we are going to talk about cruising in a way that I have not talked about it quite before, and I have really been inspired to do this by a lot of comments I get when I tell people that we enjoy cruising, and so here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please click on that subscribe button, and if you appreciate my updates, please give this video a thumbs up. So a lot of times when people ask Gordon and I what we enjoy doing and we say that we go on a cruise, 9.9 times out of 10 people respond with like, you eat a lot on a cruise, you must like to eat if you're going to go on a cruise, because people eat a lot on cruises. And I am to the point that I want to try to put that rumor to rest, and I know that a lot of you who have been on cruises before know that that is not true. Yes, there is a lot of food available when you go on a cruise. Just like when I visit another town, there are so many different restaurants to choose from. When you're on a cruise ship, there are lots of different eating venues to choose from. They are open because a lot of times, like think of the buffet, they are open because they are trying to feed however many guests are on board that ship. They've got a lot of people to feed, and so they try to do it as efficiently as you can. Now, when you're on a cruise, I think it's a great time to try new foods. You can eat more than you want if you do when you're home. You can eat less than you do when you're at home, and really different menus. So wanted to make sure everybody knows that that part is true, but just to think that you go on a cruise to eat is really wrong. To me, we go on a cruise and we have our meals while we're on board the ship if we don't have our meals when we're visiting a port. So I thought it would be really fun to talk over some of the reasons why cruising is such a wonderful way to travel. So I thought it would be fun if you all will kind of respond in the comments, let me know what you think, and definitely let us know, have you been on a cruise before or not? Are you thinking about going? What your questions are, and if you have been before, let us know your very favorite parts of cruising, okay? So I thought that the very first thing that came to my mind when I think of going on a cruise is, number one, how stress-free it is. When you go on a cruise, you are not trying to worry about flight schedules, you're not trying to worry about trains, you don't have to have a bunch of hotels lined up, you don't have to have a car reserved or worry about construction on the road, bus strikes, train strikes, all of these things. You are still going to go and see all of the different destinations that are on your itinerary. When you come to a port, you have the flexibility to stay on the ship if you want to, go on an excursion with the ship, book an excursion with a private tour provider, or just go off on your own and do your own exploring. The world really is your oyster when you go on a cruise, and it's really a great way to see things without having to worry about all of the extra travel things, like I said, planes, trains, hotels, everything being lined up. And what if you have all your hotels lined up and then there is construction on the road and you're driving and you're delayed, or things come up that, the train people go on strike, and then you're not to the places where you thought you would be. A cruise is a really sweet way to go. The next thing kind of goes along with that, but you unpack one time when you go on a cruise, and then you wake up in different ports all along your trip. So you're not packing and unpacking and packing and unpacking every evening of your trip, which I have done land tours. I have traveled when Gordon drives us around and we see places in the world, and you unpack and repack every evening. So it is really a luxury to get on board the ship, unpack, put everything away so it's convenient for you for the whole trip, and you don't have to keep doing that. The third thing I think is a really big deal, especially these days, as it seems that the price of so many aspects of travel have increased, especially recently. It is all inclusive. You can book and go on a cruise, and you're going to visit the destinations that you're going to see. Your food is going to be included. If you want to spend extra on a specialty dining venue, you can do that, but only if you want to. You can even book your cruise in advance so that your Wi-Fi is included, your beverages are included, your gratuities are included. So when you go on a cruise, you're not going to have surprise expenses. So it's really important that when you're going to go on a cruise, that you learn the things that are included and the things that are not included. But as long as you've done your homework, you are not going to have any surprise expenses, and the only things you're going to spend money on is something that you decide that you're going to spend money on. You can even book your excursions for the ports early or book them through a private vendor, and you're going to know what your tours are going to cost, and you'll have a really good idea. None of this going and then having a lot of surprise expenses. The next thing that I think is really important, this would be number 4, is really how comfortable it is a way of traveling. And for people that need accessibility considerations, they are built right in as well. When you go on a cruise and you're on a cruise ship, you will find that they are beautifully built and they are very nicely set up for people to have nice even walkways. Like I said, ways to accommodate people that have accessibility concerns, from accessible cabins to, big enough elevators to get scooters in and wheelchairs, all the things. It is a really convenient way to be able to travel, and my experience has been that the crew is very, very gracious in helping out with anything that you need. So 5th is, this is kind of an outtake. I think a lot of people don't realize that just want to know if you eat a lot when you go on a cruise. They don't really understand how many health and wellness options are on cruise ships these days. So they all have some kind of a fitness center on board. Most ships do. Some of the smaller boats don't, the smaller river boats. But when you're looking at ocean ships, they do. They have like I said, the fitness centers, they have like walking tracks. They've got places that you can go for a walk and take in the beautiful sea air and see the beautiful scenery as you do it. You can be out on deck and have a sunrise yoga class. You can go to the spa and enjoy all the treatments there. So you can really very specifically book a ship. I would say pay attention to what it is that you want so that you get it when you go. But you can have very much a health and wellness cruise and enjoy excellent food options and excellent health wellness options as you go and have a really marvelous time. Next up, 6 is a lot of people like to meet people when they travel. That's a really fun thing to be on a cruise ship because so many people come from all over the world. And it really depends. Some destinations, I would say, you're more likely to have guests from more places in the world. But even if you're going on a Caribbean cruise down to Mexico, people come from all over the world to go on cruises in different destinations all over the world. So when you go, you have the wonderful opportunity not only to meet people from the country that you live in, but to meet people from quite a few other countries as well. And it is such a joy to get to know them, to learn how. I love to listen to people talk from other countries and hear the experiences that they have, what they really enjoy. It makes us better people as we get to know each other better. And it really could change our worldview as well. So I think that that's a really important way. And some of Gordon and I's very dearest friends, we have met through going on cruises and what we do here with YouTube and going on cruises together. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. I wouldn't trade those people for anybody. And so I think it's really important that we remember how social cruises can be. The other thing that I want to add that is so important about thinking of the social part of going on a cruise is the prevalence of a lot of different kinds of group cruises these days. All of the different cruise lines have different groups for different things, ranging from Disney things to food and wine options and pretty much everything in between. They celebrate cruise line special anniversaries like we've got with Princess coming up, and the Love Boat Cruise, we've got a group going for that. There are just so many options when it comes to figuring out a cruise to go on to associate with people who enjoy the same kind of thing that you enjoy. So I think that that's very important to think about with cruising as well. Number 7, we're going to talk about the exceptional food and dining options when you're on a cruise ship. A long time ago, think about when cruising first started, you would have the main dining room and you would have the buffet, and which was absolutely wonderful, by the way. And then some specialty dining started to creep in and some other options. And now we are to the point that cruise ships have so much fine dining available on board that you really can put the quality of the food and the experience up against things that are on land at very fine dining restaurants, and they compare beautifully. And so you can really kind of chart out the kind of experience that you want by the cruise line that you choose, and even sometimes the ship that you choose within a cruise line to have the dining experiences that you're really looking for. And that can easily vary by cruise. You don't always go on a cruise for the same reason. You don't always go to the same place. Same thing, you don't always want the same dining. And so there are so many options out there and really great ways to look at that. Next up, we're going to talk about enriching cultural and educational programs. So even when we were just on the Crown Princess, we were on that full transit of the Panama Canal. During the day, there were everything from like line dancing, different kinds of dancing. You could do art projects while you were on board. You could go listen to an enrichment speaker. And that is in addition to like the musical groups that would play. We had these beautiful violinists on board, other groups. You had guitar players. The pianist there in Crooners was exceptional with his piano playing and his singing. So there are just so many options of things to learn and do when you go on a cruise. There are some all-inclusive resorts that try to touch that a little bit, but none of them can really compete with how the cruise lines do it. They do a really great job of exposing you to new forms of, like I said, art, entertainment. It's really a wonderful place to be. Now, the next thing is becoming more and more important as time goes by, and that would be safety and security. When you go on a cruise, you are kind of in this bubble. You still have to be so very wise. You have to be conscientious, pay attention to what you are doing, absolutely. But you have this added layer of security that goes with you. So this occurs to me a lot lately as we hear of some of the different Caribbean islands having increased security levels where, and I'll talk about that again soon. I should talk about that again soon, where sometimes they'll say there's a little bit more violence, a little bit more gang activity, wherever it is. When you go on a cruise, if you really want to see that place, you can book an excursion to go with the cruise line, and that is so much more secure. You're there with other people, and you're there with the cruise line officially, which I think adds another layer of protection, and you can go see the places that you want to see rather than having to go by yourself, and it is more secure than just flying into a location and visiting that place on your own. So kind of think about that also when you're kind of thinking of the places that you want to visit. Really keep that in mind. And the other thing is that when you book an excursion, and I'm just going to throw this out here, when you book an excursion and you're going to go with a private vendor, make sure that you really check them out. Check out the reviews. Make sure that people have gone very recently. Don't take the word on a review. If you're going to go on a tour in 2025, it's great if people were really enjoying it in 2023, but don't just pay attention. Make sure that there are very recent reviews of people who are very pleased, and look into them as well so that you are sure that you're getting what you're hoping for. Number 10. And then we're going to have a number 11 because I think it's so important. But number 10 is there are so many different cruise styles that really are very well represented in the different cruise lines and even on different ships within the cruise lines. So whatever it is that you're cruising for, whether you're cruising to relax, whether you are cruising to have a different port every day and be out there every day seeing different things, whether you're cruising to take advantage of the health and wellness options, whether you're taking your family, whether you're going by yourself, however it is that you're doing it, there are so many different options. And I think that is one of the things that makes going on a cruise so special, because as you choose those different options, you get to meet different people and you see different places. So number 11, which I think is cream of the crop, tip of the top, is the fact that you get to sail the ocean blue and that you get to visit new places and meet new people. Like I said earlier, when I was talking about us meeting new people, that changes us and makes us better citizens of the countries that we live in, of this whole wide world, makes us a better world citizen as well. As we meet new people and see new places, it opens our eyes to things that we would have never seen before and changes who we are in a really good way. So if you haven't been on a cruise yet, I'm throwing it out there. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful way to travel. So if you have been on a cruise, I want to hear from you in the comments, really to encourage anyone who might be reading the comments about why cruising is such an amazing way to travel, why we keep coming back again. And a lot of people keep coming back to cruising who also like to do land tours, who also like to rent a car after their cruise and drive around a country and see things, but they still love that cruise component. And I think that's so important. Thank you so very much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.